Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for braving it out on this kind of cold and icy day. It looks like a few people didn't come today because they were being wimpy, thinking it was going to be too slippery, but it isn't. My name is Alison. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to be the director for tonight's show, so all the people that didn't come that normally are here are going to be very disappointed because we have two wonderful shows for you today. The first one we're going to do is a show, it's an Ellery Queen. It's the Adventures of the Singing Rat. And it originally aired on January 7th of 1943. Now, a little bit of the history on the Ellery Queen series. It was introduced in CBS radio as The Adventures of Ellery Queen, and it was a detective series that featured Hugh Marlowe as the title character. The show was originally a replacement for the Screen Guild Theater, which was a popular anthology series. It was broadcast on 3 different radio stations, starting on CBS radio from 1939 to 1940. Then it moved over to NBC radio from 1942 to 1944. And then it went back to CBS radio from 1945 until 1947. And it finished up over on ABC, so it covered the whole spectrum. And the series did end in 1948. Now, the basic format of the show was they would put on the show, they would have celebrity guests come on and try to, at the end of the show, figure out what the solving of the murder mystery was, or what the mystery was. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to do that today. We couldn't get any celebrities who wanted to brave it out in the cold to come meet us. So you guys have to be sleuths on your own and try to see if you can figure it out. And there are hints that if you're good, you can figure it out. Now, for how many of you know the Ellery Queen series at all? Okay. Did all of you know that Inspector Queen was Ellery's father? None of us knew that. Oh, we have one in the back. Of course he would know. But anyway, none of us knew that. We kept hearing in the script him referring to him as Pops or Dad, and we thought, oh my gosh, Inspector McQueen is actually Ellery's father. So keep that in mind when you're listening today. All right, today, the original Singing Rat, again, originally aired in 1943, and off we go.
Bromo Seltzer presents The Adventures of Ellery Queen. Tonight, the makers of Bromo Seltzer bring you another thrilling adventure of Ellery Queen, celebrated gentleman detective in person. Ellery Queen again gives you a chance to match wits with him as he relates a new story of a crime he alone unravels. And then at the point where he was able to solve the mystery, he stops the play, gives you a chance to guess the criminal's name. When originally broadcast on January 7th, 1943, celebrity guests were invited to be armchair detectives. Tonight, you are all invited to be armchair detectives. So listen carefully, for before the solution is revealed, you will be asked to solve the mystery. And now, Ellery Queen, Master Detective, and your host for the next half hour.
Thank you and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's story concerns the adventure Nikki and I had when a stool pigeon gave us incriminating evidence against Musso the Moose. I call it The Adventure of the Singing Rat.
Oh, Inspector.
What is it?
Look who's paying a visit to headquarters. The Singing Rat.
The Singing Rat. Show him in, Billy. It's always glad to see the rat.
Enter, Sir Rodent.
Yes, Sergeant, yeah.
Billy, shut that door and keep it shut.
Right.
What's your song today, rat?
Well, listen, Inspector. I got something big, see? Nobody can hear me, eh?
The rat's a little shaky, Inspector. He's got something for us on Musso.
On Musso? What is it, rat? Sing.
Listen, Inspector Queen, I can tell you how to get the moose, but good, see?
Goods on the moose. Well, well.
But you gotta give me protection, Inspector. Put me in stir until this blow over.
Come on, rat. What do you got?
Tonight, see? 12 sharp. The moose will be in a parked car at the corner of Broadway and Basie Street. Well, all you gotta do, Inspector, is to hook what he's got in the upper right-hand pocket of his vest. Oh, I'll show that dirty...
Billy, put the singing rat in a cell. Book him on some charge. Make it look legitimate.
Suspicion of petty larceny, and that's no lie. Orders, Inspector.
3 men. Here at 11:30. Absolute secrecy. There mustn't be a leak. Maybe what's in that mobster's vest pocket is the evidence I've been looking for 5 years.
Oh, why don't he show up, Moose? I don't like sitting here in his parked car.
You be like a me, cockeye. Bigger businessman. Nice, easy, relaxer.
Yeah, Moose, yeah. But why we gotta meet his nibs on street corners? We're wide open.
Cockeye, you don't understand. That's why you're the punk and I'm Musso the Moose. He's important man. Sure, I can make him come up to the apartment like last week, but he's taking the chance. Oh, if somebody sees him.
Hey, Moose, see that black sedan? It's the cops!
Cops! No, keep your pants on, cockeye.
You mutts in that car?
Cockeye, no, don't start nothing.
I got him covered, Sergeant.
Clint, shine a light on him. All right, step out, Moose. You too, mutt. Reach for a rod and you'll be angel food before you hit the sidewalk. Come on.
Hello, Sergeant. You is a sore about something? Sure, we come out.
Good evening, Musso.
Oh, is my old friend Inspector Queen.
Neither of them's healed, Inspector.
Inspector, every time you pull in the moose, you gotta let me go again. Ain't you no getting tired?
Hold your hands high, Moose. Stand still and you won't get hurt. Clint, hold that submachine gun to his back so he won't get ambitious.
Right, sir.
Are you nuts, Inspector? What's the idea?
All right, Billy. Put your hand in the upper right-hand pocket of his vest and take out whatever's in there.
My vest? You can't do that. I want my mouthpiece. Take your hands out of my vest. Let me go.
Be nice, Moosey.
Somebody, she's a squeal. When I find out who, he's a dead man. I'll kill him. I kill him.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have the beginning of our mystery. We'll be back in just a moment to tell you more. But first, our announcer.
Friends, you like to save money, don't you? And you like fast relief from the common sick headache, of course. But what's saving money got to do with that? Plenty. So listen closely. Right now at your drugstore, you can get the large 60-cent size of Bromo Seltzer for only 39 cents. Now, any way you figure, that's a savings of 20% or more. And talk about quick, effective relief. But I'll let Mrs. Helen B. Abel of Pipersville, Pennsylvania, tell you more about that. She writes,
Whenever I get a common sick headache, I always take Bromo Seltzer because I found out years ago that there's just nothing better. Recently, I won my husband over to Bromo Seltzer too. One day he had a common sick headache, and the preparation he usually took just didn't seem to help him. I persuaded him to let me fix him a Bromo Seltzer. Well, he was delighted at how quickly he got relief. You can be sure there's always a bottle of Bromo Seltzer in our house.
oh, millions of folks feel just as you do, Mrs. Abel. Which reminds me, you old users of Bromo Seltzer will want to get in on this special too. But you must hurry. This offer is strictly limited as to time and quantity. So tomorrow, go to your druggist. Ask him for the regular large 60-cent bottle of Bromo Seltzer, but pay him only 39 cents. Better still, get 2 bottles. One for your desk or locker, one for home use. And now let's join Ellery Queen and Nikki Porter as they visit Inspector Queen at headquarters the morning after the capture of Musso, the racketeer.
What's up, Dad? Why the hurry call?
Oh, Ellery, I didn't want you. I wanted Nikki.
Oh, I see.
Me, Inspector? Oh, this is so sudden.
Would you act as my stenographer this morning, Nikki? My own man's homesick, and this is very confidential, the Musso case.
Well, give me a pad and a couple of pencils, Inspector, and I'll be Silent Susan herself.
Dad, don't tell me you finally tied the moose up to the bankruptcy racket.
I sure have.
What on earth is the bankruptcy racket, Ellery?
A cute little dodge to defraud unlucky business people.
Oh.
A firm goes into bankruptcy. A crooked judge appoints some politician as receiver. A crooked appraiser undervalues the property magnificently. It goes for a song. Everybody involved in the racket, except the bankrupt and its creditors, make a heap of crooked money.
We've known about this ring for a long time, Licky. Judge Lamson appoints the receiver, Phil Boyne. Boyne's a slick politician, and next on the list is a little jerk by the name of Ernie Durning. He's a crooked appraiser, and then there's a woman lawyer, Fanny Wicker, handles the legal end, all on the Moose's payroll. We've never been able to prove it.
I see.
Here comes Billy now with the singing rat. Come on in. The rat tipped us off.
Right this way, Brother Rat.
Inspector, Musso's out on bail.
Keep your shirt on, Rat. We couldn't keep him in a cell indefinitely at this early stage.
But he knows it was me that sang, I tell you. He'll get me.
He'll get nobody. Billy, show these 4 good citizens into my office.
Yes, sir. I've been waiting for a long, long time. In here, folks. Judge, Miss Wicker.
Rat, get over there by the window. Lie low.
Yeah, okay.
Ah, Judge Lamson. Oh, come in, Miss Wicker. Mr. Bourne, Mr. Durning. Billy, shut that door and see that we're not interrupted.
Oh, yes, sir.
Inspector Queen, what's the meaning of this high-handed procedure? Hailing a member of the bench to your office like a felon.
I'll explain in a moment, Your Honor. Miss Wicker, I believe we had the pleasure yesterday when you showed up in court with $50,000 for Musso's bail.
Come on, Inspector, what have you got? You didn't ask me to your office today to admire my new shade of lipstick.
What a haughty woman.
Shh, quiet, Nikki. Notes.
And Phil Bourne, eh? Don't see you down here very often.
Well, as I always say, stay away from wine, women, and police headquarters if you want to keep out of trouble, eh, Inspector?
Mr. Durning, what's the matter? Something wrong? You look sick. The appraising racket good, Ernie?
No complaint, Inspector. In fact, today is my busy day.
It'll be a lot busier before sundown, Mr. Durning. Now, last night I arrested Musso the racketeer. In his vest pocket I found a case full of cigarettes.
Case full of cigarettes?
Yes, cigarettes. The Moose smokes a very special brand. It bears his monogram in gold leaf. Very swanky. A moose head. One of the monogram cigarettes in the Moose case, in fact, this one on my desk here.
This?
Yes, Judge, here. See it?
I see it, I see it.
That's one very special cigarette, not like the others in Musso's case.
Looks like one of Musso's regular cigarettes to me.
Does it, Counselor? Ellery, hand me that cigarette case.
Here you are, Dad. What is this, Mr. Barnum?
Greatest show on earth. Now, this cigarette looks like an ordinary Musso cigarette, but it isn't. Its ends are plugged with little wads of tobacco, which are removable. See? In other words, It's hollow. Contains something. I wonder what it could be. Well, well.
Ellery, what's that piece of paper tightly rolled up?
A document of some sort, Nikki.
This document in Musso's handwriting is a payroll report.
What?
Quote, pay to Judge Eustace F. Lamson $19,000 for appointing Phil Boyne receiver in bankruptcy.
Now, see here.
And it's got your signature, Judge Lamson.
Wait a minute here, Inspector. Let's talk this through a minute.
It's a forgery, an attempt to blacken my good name. I don't even know Musso.
Inspector, I seen the judge go up to the Moose's apartment only last week.
So that's why this notorious thief and police informer is in your office, Inspector.
It is. It was the rat. He's the one who's saying.
Inspector, let's talk this over. I've got some influence, you know.
Have you, Boyne? You're gonna need it.
Let's cut the salami. What else have you got, Inspector Queen?
Your signature and receipt, Miss Wicker. Phil Boyne's and Durning's.
Oh, you have no such evidence.
Give me that paper.
I don't believe it.
Oh, no, Judge. You'd like to get your hands on this little piece of paper, wouldn't you? Itchy fingers, Counselor? Mr. Durning? Mr. Boyne? We'll just remove temptation. Roll the paper up again, tuck it back in this hollow cigarette like this, put the false tobacco plugs, and we've got the evidence all ready for the district attorney.
Well, I don't admit a thing.
I've been in politics a long time, Inspector. I've seen a lot of wise cops come and go.
Prove it. Take it to the courts.
What do you intend to do, Inspector?
I want Musso. The DA will go easy on any one of you who gives evidence to break Musso's power and put him out of circulation. It's up to you four.
Ellery, what's the matter with the singing rat?
He's backing away from the window.
Hey,
What's the matter?
there's some guy in the building across the street is aiming a rifle at me. Through the window, he's gonna shoot. Hey, Boyne, save me!
Hey, don't grab me, you rat!
Billy, that building opposite. Man with a rifle.
Piggott, grab that sniper. Who got it?
Oh, Mr. Boyne, Sergeant, he's hurt.
Let me through here, please.
Phil Boyne!
Well, I couldn't help it. I see the rifle, I duck. I grabs Boyne so he gets it instead of me. Oh, it must have been the Moose. He's trying to kill me for squealing.
A murder attempt in my office?
Boyne, where are you hit?
I don't know. Call an ambulance, will you? Call a doctor. I'm shot, I tell you. I'm shot. Oh, God, I'm shot.
Lie still, Boyne, lie still. Where does it hurt?
Yeah, here's the bullet hole in his coat, Dad, but I don't see...
I tell you, I'm gonna die. Come on.
Oh, is he hurt badly, Ellery?
Listen, Boyne, you're all right. You're not hurt. Not even a scratch.
Oh, thank goodness.
But the bullet went right through his coat, Maestro.
Through his coat, Sergeant. Through this cigarette case in his breast pocket and smack up against this steel vest he's wearing.
What?
Steel vest?
Yes, Dad. See? Here's the vest and here's the flattened slug. All he got was a chest bruise. Now get up, boy. Stop acting like a baby.
Whoa! Oh, his arm's shaking like a custard pudding.
Here, look at the rat, Miss Porter. If he was milk, he'd be butter.
Give me your butt, somebody. Give me your butt, will ya?
Here you are, Mr. Rat.
Me too. Thanks. I could use one.
I guess we all can, Counselor. Mr. Boyne?
No, I don't want any.
I'll have one of those cigarettes, Mr. Queen.
Of course, Judge. Mr. Durning?
No, thanks.
Dad, Nikki?
Oh, but yes.
Thanks, son. Now let's get back to cases. Are you good citizens going to testify against Musso, or aren't you? Miss Wicker?
I can't think straight right now, Inspector. Give us a little time.
Oh, fine, Counselor. I can give you my answer now.
Judge, don't be hasty. Let's talk this over.
Okay. I give you people just 2 days to make up your mind. No longer! All right, Billy, let him go.
This way out, Your Honor. Come on.
Billy, any report on that building across the street?
No luck, Inspector. By the time the boys got there, the guy that fired the rifle had taken a powder.
Oh, I'll never hear the end of this.
Dad, the singing rat.
He's gone. Billy, where'd the rat go?
I don't know, Inspector. I didn't see him.
I guess Brother Rat decided to leave police headquarters because it wasn't as safe as he figured.
Fool. Now Musa will get him for sure. Willie, send out an alarm. Bring the rat in.
I advise you to be very careful about this evidence on your desk. Put this fake cigarette in a safe place.
Don't worry, son. I'm putting the moose's monogram butt with that payroll inside in the thickest vault at headquarters.
You better do it now, Dad. There are 5 desperate people. Judge Lamson, Attorney Wicker, Appraiser Durning, Politician Boyne, and Musso himself, who will stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Seems to me we practically live at police headquarters these days, Ellery. What's the occasion for this visit to the inspector's office this time?
Don't you remember, Nikki? The deadline Dad gave Musso's distinguished coworkers is up this afternoon.
Well, why should that make you look goofy? This isn't your case. And anyway, even if it was, there's no mystery about it.
I know. Just the same, Nikki, there's something wrong. It's been bothering me for days, but I can't put my finger on it.
Oh, you and your imagination. Oh, here's the inspector's office.
Isn't Billy there either? Well, find him, blast it! Oh, Ellery and Nikki.
Anything new on the Moose case, Inspector?
Have you heard from Judge Lamson yet, or the others?
Ought to be here any minute now. If they'd only agree to testify against that slippery mobster. Yes?
Fanny Wickers, here, Inspector.
Moose's mouthpiece. Send the counselor in. Something tells me this is good news. Ah, Miss Wicker. Well, has that smart legal brain of yours looked over all the angles of the corner you people are in?
You win, Inspector. We'll cooperate with the DA and give what evidence we can against the Moose, provided we're protected and the DA makes a deal.
That's very smart.
Look at the inspector's face, Ellery. He looks positively blissful.
There's something wrong, Nikki. Something wrong.
Oh, you always think of things and you
Glad to see it that way, Miss Wicker. You're here as spokesman for the whole group?
Yeah. All except Judge Lamson. His honor is going to fight, Inspector.
That's the worst decision his honor ever made. Well, so the Moose is going down for the count at last. Out on bail, is he? But not for long. Excuse me. Yes?
Inspector, Billy.
Billy, I've been combing the city for you. Where are you?
Central Park. Listen, Inspector.
What are you doing in Central Park? Sharing nuts with the squirrels?
Now listen, Inspector. It's about the Moose.
The Moose? What about the Moose?
A park cop just found him under a bush with a bullet in his brain.
Oh, this is really something.
Oh, look at that crowd of reporters, Ellery.
What, Nikki?
Ellery Queen, what's the matter with you?
Nothing, Nikki, nothing. It's just that I can't get it out of my mind.
Get what out of your mind? Oh, your imagination again. And meanwhile, that racketeer's lying here in the park murdered.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Go over, get those guys.
Oh, Dad. Well?
Moose got it in the brain, Ellery. We've rounded up his gang, but they're deaf, dumb, and blind.
What was Musso doing in Central Park, I wonder?
Obviously, Nikki, he had an appointment with his murderer. You see here, bodies lying behind a bush in this clump of trees and no sign of it being dragged. They were arguing here. Oh, Sergeant, did you find the gun?
Yeah, Maestro. It's the Musso's own rod. One chamber's empty.
They struggled over Moose's gun, Ellery, and the other gentleman won.
He's no gentleman.
Dad, how long has the Moose been lying here dead?
Doc Fodder says he was bumped off sometime today.
He didn't die right away, so Doc says there's no telling how long he lingered.
He could have been murdered any time this morning or early afternoon. Drat it, I'll have to check alibis.
Dad, look at
What's
this.
What is it, son?
I just found it under the body. It's the hollow cigarette with the moose monogram on it.
A hollow one? Like the one we got at headquarters?
Isn't there anything in it, Ellery?
No, it's empty. Dad, are you sure the cigarette with the document is safe at Center Street? This looks like the identical casing.
It can't be, Ellery. I locked up the evidence myself.
Just the same, Dad. Let's go back to headquarters and check up. Hurry, Dad, hurry.
Oh, you don't suppose Musso could have had two cigarettes?
There, I tell you, Ellery. This is the Moosey's dummy cigarette, just as I left it in the safe.
Dad, this isn't a dummy.
It's a real cigarette?
Tobacco. Clear through.
My evidence. But I locked the dummy monogram cigarette in my safe 2 days ago, son.
You only thought it was the dummy, Dad. The switch must have been made before you locked this cigarette in your safe.
One of those crooks substituted a real moose cigarette for the hollow one in your office 2 days ago, Inspector.
Exactly, Dad. After showing the document to those people in your office, you replaced it in the hollow dummy and put the dummy on your desk, remember?
Oh, yes.
And they all kept wandering around the office and
Yes! It would have taken only a second to make the switch of cigarettes. Hey, I know when the switch was made. When the rat screamed that somebody was going to shoot him.
Right, Dad. And one of them came prepared to make the exchange.
But which one?
They all had cigarettes with them, Sergeant. The judge smoked incessantly. So did Miss Wicker, Mr. Durning. We know Boyne had cigarettes. His cigarette case was pierced by that rifle bullet.
So any of them could have made the switch 2 days ago.
But how did the stolen one get under Musso's body in Central Park, Ellery?
The thief must have brought it with him today to his appointment with his victim.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
I don't understand why he knocked the moose off, Maestro.
It's not hard to reconstruct, Sergeant. The thief, in possession of the vital evidence, wanted money from Musso. Money in return for not handing that evidence back to the police.
You probably intended to milk them all dry, one after the other, and started with the racketeer.
Yeah, and then he figured he'd destroy the evidence.
All right. So whoever stole that dummy cigarette in my office the other day is the killer of Musso.
But who?
Looks like a tough one to me, Ellery.
Tough? I don't think so, Dad.
Now, Ellery, don't tell me you know who did it.
Yes, Nikki. I know who stole the dummy cigarette and murdered the moose. And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have the mystery. And I hope a solution as well. In a moment, you'll learn how successful you were as an armchair detective. But first, our announcer, a very reasonable person indeed.
Certainly I'm reasonable, Ellery. For instance, when I tell folks to get 2 bottles of Bromo Seltzer, one to keep at home, the other where you work, I have 2 mighty good reasons. Firstly, you can never know when a common sick headache will affect you, but you can depend on Bromo Seltzer to help you feel better fast. For Bromo Seltzer fights headaches 3 ways on head, nerves, and stomach. You get effective relief, quickly feel like your old self. Reason number 2 for buying 2 bottles. Right now, there's a wonderful special on Bromo Seltzer. The regular large 60-cent size bottle for only 39 cents. Now that means you save 20% or more. But remember, this offer is strictly limited both to time and quantity, so act at once.
What is it? Did Ellery, does he really know?
Well, tell us, son, was it Judd Lamson?
Or that mouthpiece in skirts, Fanny Wicker?
That shifty little appraisal Durning?
No. The thief of the evidence, and therefore the killer of Musso, was Phil Boyne.
Boyne? That politician?
The one that got hit by the rifle bullet by mistake?
But how do you know it was Boyne, Ellery?
The clue in this case is psychological, but it's as incontestable as a fingerprint. Consider the situation in your office, Dad, 2 days ago. Musso, or one of his henchmen, in trying to kill the singing rat, fired a shot that struck Phil Boyne by mistake. How did Boyne react?
Well, like an old lady. Got hysterical.
Yes, Boyne was so shocked by his narrow escape from death, so unnerved, that he blubbered like a scared child. Yet, when, at the height of excitement, I offered him a cigarette, he refused it.
That's right, he did.
The judge, the rat, Counselor Wicker, Ernie, even you, Dad, and Nicky were all so shaken by the murderous attack that you gratefully accepted a cigarette to soothe your nerves. Yet Boyne, the man most immediately involved, the man who had actually been struck by the bullet, although unhurt, the man who threw a fit of hysterics, Boyne refused a smoke. Conclusion, Phil Boyne is not a smoking man. Phil Boyne doesn't smoke at all. If he were a smoker, even a light smoker, he would have grabbed at a cigarette in this condition.
But Ellery, if Boyne isn't a smoker, why does he carry a cigarette case around with him? He did that day, and you said yourself it was pierced by the rifle bullet.
Yes, Nicky. Why did Boyne, a non-smoker, carry a cigarette case? Since it wasn't because he smoked, then that case and the cigarettes in it must have served an entirely different purpose.
I see it now, son.
Yes, Dad. We know one of Musso's specially monogrammed cigarettes was substituted for the hollow one, with the evidence in it. Therefore, the thief must have come to your office with a cigarette he'd stolen from Musso in advance. In other words, the thief came prepared to make a switch of cigarettes if the opportunity arose. And which of the 4 suspects did he come prepared? Obviously, the man who carried a cigarette case but didn't smoke. Dad, if you'll nab Phil Boyne right away, there's a good chance he still has that document with its precious evidence on him. And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have the solution to the mystery. I want to thank you all for being armchair detectives. If you had been guests on the original broadcast, you would have received a personal gift from Broma Seltzer. Also, an autographed copy of my latest mystery anthology and a subscription to Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine.
Ellery, I'm a person who comes to the point.
So am I. I know what that point is you're going to make. And my answer is, you'll have to wait a minute to hear what's on next week's story.
Well, it so happens I can fill that minute with some mighty important information. You can take it straight from our educated Bromo Seltzer trained friends. The time to try Bromo Seltzer is right now. Listen. Yes, buy Bromo Seltzer now and you'll save money, 20% or more. For right now, your druggist is offering the large 60-cent bottle of Bromo Seltzer for only 39 cents. This offer is good for a limited time only, so act at once. Remember, Bromo Seltzer fights headache 3 ways. These 3 ways.
Quick relief from headache pain, fast help for jumpy nerves, quick help for upset stomach.
So don't be satisfied with anything that does less for you than Bromo Seltzer. Use it only as directed on the label. For frequent or persistent headaches, see your doctor. For quick, effective relief from common sick headaches, get tried and true Bromo Seltzer. And be sure to ask for the large 60-cent bottle, now selling at the special low price of 39 cents. All right, Sherlock Holmes, Come on, what's on tap for next week?
Funny you should call me that.
How so?
Because next week I'm going to tell about a case I had which will remind you of one that baffled the great Sherlock himself. It's about a man who goes into his house for an umbrella and disappears. I call my case The Adventure of Mr. Short and Mr. Long. Be sure to listen next Thursday at the same time.
And don't forget the other Bromo Seltzer show, folks. Vox Pop, the show that travels America. Next Monday, Vox Pop travels to Boeing Field in Washington. Parks Johnson and Warren Hull will interview men of our Army Air Force. Consult your local paper for the time and station. Thank you so much for joining us for this first show of the evening. And now our wonderful cast. Everyone needs a group of corrupt government employees, don't they? Playing Judge Lamson was Jay Summerfield. Ernie Durning, the crooked appraiser, was played by Andre Dixon. Lawyer Fanny Wicker, played by Judy Grant. Phil Boyne, the slick politician, played by John Bihun. Then you have those wacky gangsters and the stool pigeon. We had Marty McNulty as Cockeye, Corey Mizak as the ringleader, the Moose. And the best stool pigeon we know, Jacob Palka as the rat. Ellie Babka was the receptionist Helen and Bromo Seltzer's spokesperson. Our crime-solving crew were as follows: Donna Amesmeyer as Nikki. Thrilled to finally get our sound man on stage, John Gelsomino played Billy, Inspector Queen's right hand. Inspector Queen, Ellery Queen's father. We didn't know this until we did the read-through. Did you know that if you did, you are smarter than most of us? Inspector Queen was played by John Dumas. Our crime-solving sleuth, Ellery Queen, was played by Brad Zuro. And me, your announcer, and Officer Clint. I'm Kathy Juarez. The next